Welcome back to week number 67 of Scott's Weekly Sports today, ladies and gentlemen. I'm back once again all by myself again today. I told you guys it was going to be just me last week, and it is. So right into the college football and NFL predictions we go. And thoughts and prayers to all the Thousand Oaks people that live in Thousand Oaks. People here in Oviedo are sending our thoughts and prayers to you guys. Stay safe, and we love you guys. First game of the weekend will be Wake Forest heading in to Carter Finley Stadium to take on Ryan Finley and his NC State Wolfpack. I will take Ryan Finley and the NC State Wolfpack to get the win here. Ryan Finley has been playing very well this year. 16 touchdowns, 2,490 yards passing all season long. Been playing very well all season. So I'm going to take Ryan Finley and the NC State Wolfpack to get the win. And I think Ryan Finley goes over 25,000 this week with another 100-yard game. So give me Ryan Finley and the Wolfpack to get a home win tonight over Wake Forest. Now into tomorrow night games, as the Louisville Cardinals come in with 1-2-7 on the season, head into the Carrier Dome to take on the Syracuse University Orange. I will take Syracuse at home. The Orange have been playing very well this year. Eric Dungey playing very well this year. I saw him play last year against Clemson. Was very impressed. He's impressed me again this year. I will take Eric Dungey and the Orange to get the win at the Carrier Dome tomorrow night against Louisville. Next up, the game in the Power 5 that a lot of people are looking at is number 23 ranked in the college football poll, Fresno State, goes to the Smurf Turf to take on the Boise State Broncos. I will take Boise State to pull off the upset here. Boise's been playing very well. They've been playing well since that loss to Oklahoma State, so I'm going to take the upset here. Teams, normally top 25 teams, don't play very well during the week, so I'm going to take Boise State to pull off the upset and get a win over Fresno on tomorrow night. Now into the Saturday games as TCU heads into Morgantown to take on Will Greer and West Virginia, coming off a big win last week over Texas in the final seconds of the game. I'm going to take West Virginia to pull it off here. The Mountaineers have been playing very well this year. I will take the Mountaineers to get the win here over the Horned Frogs on Saturday. West Virginia's been playing great football all season. Will Greer has been one of the best quarterbacks in college football as we expected. So I'll take Will Greer and West Virginia to get a win in Morgantown on Saturday against the Horned Frogs of TCU. Next up, number 10, Ohio State heads into East Lansing to take on Mark D'Antonio and his number 18 ranked Michigan State Spartans. I will take Urban Meyer and his Ohio State Buckeyes to get the win here. I feel like the Buckeyes have been playing very well this season. 2 more wins until we get to see one of the best games of the year. Ohio State, Michigan, both with 1 loss on the season. I will take Ohio State to get the win here over Michigan State in East Lansing on Saturday. Should be a great game, but I'll take the Buckeyes to get the win on Saturday in East Lansing against the Spartans. Next up, Navy heading into the Bounce House to take on UCF on homecoming weekend. Number 12 ranked UCF coming in, the first new game of the season for UCF. I'm going to take the Knights to win the game, but I don't think we cover. The line right now is at 25.5. I think that's way too much here, especially with how bad our defense is. I don't think we cover here. I'll take Navy to cover the spread, to beat the spread here, but I don't think they win the game. UCF wins this one by, I'll say, about 21 to 28 points. I'll take the Knights at home at the Bounce House, Bright House Network Stadium, and to get the win at Spectrum Stadium and improve to 9-0 on the season, and hopefully College game day to Spectrum Stadium next weekend against Cincinnati. So I'll take the Knights at home over Navy. Next up, Will Muschamp and his South Carolina Gamecocks head into the Swamp to take on Dan Mullen and his Florida Gators. 2 tough games the last 2 weeks for Felipe Franks at Florida, but I think they're going to get it back on track this week. I'll take Florida to get a win here over the Gamecocks of South Carolina at home in the Swamp. It should be very hot in the Swamp on Saturday. Noon kickoff. Temperature is supposed to be 71 degrees at kickoff for this game. I don't believe that. I feel like it will be much hotter than 71 degrees on Saturday in the Swamp. So I'm going to take the Gators at home to get a win over the Gamecocks of South Carolina. So give me the Gators at home in the Swamp. Next up, unranked Wisconsin surprisingly head in to take on number 20 ranked Penn State. Give me Penn State at home. Trace McSorley has been playing very well this year. I think they have the better quarterback here. So I'm going to take Penn State in Happy Valley to get a win on Saturday against Wisconsin. But it should be a very good game. Two teams I expected to be much better than they are this year. I'll take the Nittany Lions at home in Happy Valley to get a win over Jonathan Taylor in Wisconsin. Next up, number 16 ranked Mississippi State head in to Tuscaloosa to take on Nick Saban and his number 1 ranked Alabama Crimson Tide. I will take Bama at home. Bama's been playing very well this season. Jalen Hurts will not play again this week. Tua will be out of there in the third quarter again this week probably. So I'm going to take the Tide at home. The Tide will just keep on rolling. Alabama gets the win over Mississippi State in Tuscaloosa on Saturday. Next up, number 4 ranked Michigan heads in to Piscataway, New Jersey to take on the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. I will take the khakis of Jim Harbaugh and his Michigan Wolverines to get the win here against Rutgers in Piscataway this weekend. Should be no problems here. Michigan is favored by 40 points this week against Rutgers. I think it's way too much here to do that. So I'm going to take Michigan to beat Rutgers on Saturday against the Rutgers Scarlet Knights in New Jersey on Saturday. Next up, Bedlam is this weekend. Is Oklahoma State heads into Norman to take on Kyler Murray and the Oklahoma Sooners. I will take Kyler Murray and the Sooners to get a win here in Bedlam this week. Should be no problems here. Oklahoma State's not as good as they were last year. Without Mason Rudolph, I don't think they'll be as good as they were last year. So I'll take the Sooners and the very good team of Oklahoma to get a win over the Cowboys of Oklahoma State this weekend with a win in Norman. Next up, number 11 Kentucky coming off a tough loss last week to Georgia as they head into Knoxville to take on Jeremy Pruitt and his Tennessee Volunteers. The only thing Tennessee's volunteering this week is another loss. I'll take Kentucky on the road. Benny Snell's going to play well. Terry Wilson might have a nice game. I'm going to take the Cats on the road to get a win against the Volunteers on Saturday in Knoxville in Saturday afternoon football. Next up, Northwestern leading the way in the Big Ten, in the Big 12, in the Big Ten division right now, leading the way in their division as they head into Iowa City. No, my bad. Yes, Iowa City, Iowa to take on Nate Stanley and number 21 ranked Iowa. Big game. Winner of this game probably wins the division in my opinion. I'm going to take Northwestern on the road. Northwestern's been playing very good football all year. I'm going to take my first upset of the weekend. I will take Northwestern at home on the road in Iowa City to get a win over Nate Stanley in Iowa and possibly punch their ticket to the Big Ten Championship game, only to lose to the winner of Ohio State, Michigan. So I'll take the Wildcats of Northwestern to get a win over Iowa. Next up, the Baylor Bears head into Ames, Iowa to take on the number 22 ranked Iowa State Cyclones. Looked good last week again, did Iowa State. I'm going to take Iowa State at home once again. Tough to win in Ames. A lot of people know that. Just ask West Virginia and Oklahoma. And also ask Oklahoma State because they've beaten those 3 teams in Ames the last 2 years at home. So I'm going to take the Iowa State Cyclones to get a win over the Baylor Bears on Saturday in Ames. Next up, one of the bigger games of the weekend is number 24 Georgia. Number 24 Auburn heads in to Between the Hedges to take on Jake Fromm from State Farm and number 5 ranked Georgia. I will take Jake Fromm and the Georgia Bulldogs to get the win here. Georgia looking for revenge after losing last year at Jordan-Hare. I think they get revenge after last year's loss at Jordan-Hare. I think Georgia's going to bounce back and get some revenge. So give me Georgia at home in Between the Hedges to get a win and move on and get one step closer to that collision course that they have right now with Alabama for the SEC Championship game. So I'll take the Dogs at home to get a win over the Auburn Tigers on Saturday. Next up, Florida State heads in to Notre Dame, Indiana, and Notre Dame Stadium to take on the number 3 right now, Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Ian Book will not start this week again. He is out with a injury that he got last week against Northwestern, but I don't think he's going to matter here. Florida State is that bad. I'm going to take the Irish at home. Notre Dame's been playing great football all season. They've only had a couple of bad games, and one of them was against Michigan, but they still found a way to win that game. I'll take the Irish and Notre Dame to get a win over whoever starts. Either it's Blackman or Francois. I don't think it's going to matter. I'll take the Irish and Notre Dame to get a win over the Seminoles on Saturday. Next up, number 7 ranked LSU heading in to Fayetteville, Arkansas to take on the Razorbacks. Probably the worst team in the SEC here in Arkansas. I feel very bad for this team. They are just not good. I'm going to take the Cookie Monster to bounce back. After a tough loss last week against Alabama, they're going to bounce back and get a win here. I'll take Ed Orgeron and his LSU Tigers to get a win on Saturday in Fayetteville against the Razorbacks. Next up, number 19 Texas heads in to Lubbock to take on the Red Raiders of Texas Tech. I will take the Longhorns of Texas. Texas has been playing much better since I lost to Maryland. Had a tough week last week against West Virginia. Such a heartbreaking loss last week against West Virginia. But I'm going to take the Longhorns to bounce back after a tough game last week. I will take Sam Ehlinger and the Texas Longhorns to bounce back and get a win over the Red Raiders of Texas Tech. And now College Game Day will be there on Saturday morning, Chestnut Hill, as number 2 ranked Clemson heads in to Chestnut Hill in Alumni Stadium to take on the Boston College Eagles. First time in a while that College Game Day has been at Boston College, but I don't think it's going to matter here. I'll take the Dabo Swinney and his Clemson Tigers. Trevor Lawrence is playing much better. He's played well since you had the starting job for Kelly Bryant. So I'll take the Tigers at home on the road here to get a win over the Eagles. So give me Clemson at home on the road to get a win in Chestnut Hill on Saturday. And now into the NFL action for this weekend. Probably one of the best games of the weekend this weekend is tonight, 8 o'clock Eastern time on Fox, as it will be Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers heading into Pittsburgh in Heinz Field to take on Big Ben and the Pittsburgh Steelers. I will take the Steelers at home. Big Ben's been playing much better since that slow start they had earlier this season. So give me Big Ben and the Steelers to get a home win at Heinz Field against Cam and the Panthers. Next up, Alex Smith and his Washington Redskins heading to Raymond James Stadium to take on Ryan Fitzpatrick and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Give me the Bucs at home. They have a couple bad injuries out there in Washington right now, with Paul Richardson out for the season and 2 offensive linemen out for the season out there in Washington. So I'm going to take Ryan Fitzpatrick to have another solid week. 4 touchdowns last week for Fitzpatrick against Carolina. So I will take the Bucs at home to get a win over the Redskins on Sunday. Next up, the Detroit Lions heading into Chicago and Soldier Field to take on the Chicago Bears. Give me Mitchell Trubisky and the Bears to get a win here. Trubisky's been playing very well this season. Only a couple bad losses for the Bears. They lost to the Packers, they lost to the Dolphins, and I can't remember who that third loss was to, but I'm going to take the Chicago and the New England Patriots was the third. So they lost to 2 okay teams and a great team so far this season. So I'm going to take the Bears at home to get a win over Matt Patricia and his Detroit Lions. So give me the Bears at home at Soldier Field. Next up, Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints head in to Cincinnati and Paul Brown Stadium to take on the Cincinnati Bengals. I will take Drew Brees and the Saints. Drew Brees and the Saints have been looking very good. I don't know if they're going to put if they're going to start Dez Bryant this week in at receiver. Sean Payton said he's undecided yet if he wants to start Dez this week, his first game in to starting with the Saints. But coming off a big win last week against the Rams, it could be a little bit of a letdown. But I'm going to take the Saints on the road to get a win against the Bengals and Andy Dalton on Sunday. So give me Drew Brees and the Saints to keep marching on as they get a win over the Bengals. And next up, the 4-4, surprisingly, Atlanta Falcons coming off a 3-game win streak as they head in to First Energy Stadium in Cleveland to take on Baker Mayfield and the Cleveland Browns. Make it 4 straight. Give me the Atlanta Falcons to get a win here. Matty Ice has been playing very well the last 3 games. Julio Jones finally found the end zone last week for the Falcons, and they still got a good running game in Devonta Freeman and Tevin Coleman. So I'm going to take the road Falcons to get a win over Baker and the Browns to make it 4 straight wins for Matty Ice and the Falcons. So giving the Falcons, keep on moving up the ladder as the Falcons get a win over the Browns. Next up, the New England Patriots coming off a big win on Sunday night against the Pack as they head into Nashville to take on Super Marcus Mariota and the Tennessee Titans. I will take Tom Brady and the Patriots on the road in Tennessee. Shouldn't be any problems here. I'll take Brady and the Pats to get a win over the Titans on Sunday. Next up, one of the best games of the weekend, if you were talking about earlier in the season, during preseason, as the surprising 3-5 Jacksonville Jaguars head into Indy and Naptown to take on the 3-5 Indianapolis Colts. Leonard Fournette is back this week, and I feel like that's going to make a huge difference in this game. Give me the road Jags to get a win over the Colts with Leonard Fournette running the ball. That's going to take some pressure off of Blake Bortles. So give me the Jags at home on the road to get a win in Naptown against the Colts. Next up, one of the biggest blowouts of the weekend is Josh Rosen and his Arizona Cardinals head in to Arrowhead to take on Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm going to take the Chiefs at home. The Chiefs have been playing great football all season. I'm going to take the home Chiefs to get a win over the Cardinals on Sunday. Next up, the Buffalo Bills with or without Josh Allen this week, I don't know, as they head into New York to take on the Sam Darnold and his New York Jets. Like I said, with or without Josh Allen this week, they're going to lose. I'll take Darnold and the Jets to get a win over the Bills. The Bills have just not been good this year. They're looking for a draft pick this year in the draft. So I'll take Sam Darnold and the Jets to get a win at home in MetLife Stadium to get a win and head to 4-6 on the year and get a win against the Bills. Next up, the red hot Los Angeles Chargers coming in at 6-2. Heading to Oakland and the Coliseum to take on the 1-7 Oakland Raiders. Give me Phillip Rivers and the Chargers. The Chargers have been playing great football all season long. They're in their hunt to win the AFC West. I don't think they're going to get it done, but I do think they'll make the playoffs. So give me the road Chargers to get a win over John Gruden and his Raiders on Sunday. Next up, the Miami Dolphins. Again, Brock Osweiler, your starting quarterback for the 5th straight week for the Dolphins as they head in to Lambeau Field in Green Bay to take on Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. Give me Aaron Rodgers and the Pack to bounce back after a tough loss last week against the Patriots. Give me the Packers at home in Lambeau to get a win against Brock Osweiler and the Dolphins and improve to 4-4-1 on the season. So give me the home Pack to get a win over the Dolphins on Sunday. And next up, the Seattle Seahawks head in to Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum and to LA to take on the LA Rams. Coming off their first loss last week, this is not going to be pretty. I'm going to take the Rams at home. The Rams have been playing great football. They haven't lost at home all season, and I don't think they're going to do it here. Give me Jared Goff, Cooper Kupp, Todd Gurley, and the LA Rams to get a win against the Griffin Twins and Seattle on Sunday. I just don't think the Seahawks are ready. Give me the Rams at home over the Seahawks. Next up, Sunday Night Football, one of the best games of the week, one of the best games of the weekend every year. Even when these two teams are down, they always play tight. As the 3-5 Dallas Cowboys head into Lincoln Financial Field and Philadelphia to take on Carson Wentz and the Philadelphia Eagles. Two of my YouTube buddies have a big bet on this game. Sports Fury, Sean, if his Cowboys lose this week, he has to shave his head. If his Cowboys lose this week to the Eagles, same thing with Philly 500. If the Eagles lose this week, his kids have to shave his head. So I'm going to take the Eagles at home. Philly, you're safe this week, buddy. I'll take the Eagles to get a win and make Sean shave his head this week. I'm going to take the Eagles at home to get a win at the link against Dak and the Cowboys this weekend. And now for the biggest letdown game of the year. of the weekend is it's Monday Night Football, another boring game as Eli Manning and the Giants head into Levi Stadium to take on Nick Mullins and his San Francisco 49ers. Tough game here. Two very bad teams looking for a draft spot. I'm going to take the Niners at home. The Niners looked good last week against the Raiders. Well, everybody looks good against the Raiders this season. I'm going to take the Niners at home to get a win over the Giants at Levi Stadium on Monday night. And that will do it for this episode of Scott's Weekly Sports today, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be back with 2 videos next week. Thursday, I'll put up my Survivor Series and NXT TakeOver predictions on Thursday. And then Friday, hopefully, my dad will be back sitting here right next to me next Friday as we do our college football predictions for, I like to call it Cupcake Week for everybody in college football and our NFL predictions. And I'll always like, subscribe, comment, and share these videos with your subscribers and your friends and all of your YouTube buddies. And I'll see you guys right back here next week on Scott's Weekly Sports right here on YouTube. See you later, guys.